People always ask, where did we get the name Blue Water Climate Control? When a Navy ship casts off lines, exits the harbor, and loses sight of land, that's blue water sailing. It takes a team of people to do that. Tireless work, focus, and attention to detail. So much of starting a business is just like that. After it's done, you get filled with deep satisfaction for accomplishing something. And it's quickly followed by, now the real work begins. We're Blue Water Climate Control.
What's going on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and volunteerroadshow.com? We're bringing to you another episode of the Cold World Podcast, hosted by none other than VFL Jeff Coleman, a.k.a. JC. And we've got a special guest for you, Big Kat, Shaun Ellis from Anderson, South Carolina. NFL star, mainly with the New York Jets. He's got 73 and a half sacks, 16 passes defended, 13 forced fumbles, and 1 interception. I don't know if this 1 interception was like the one against Auburn, but I'm sure it was special. Why don't you introduce our guest and your former teammate?
Like I said, when people call me a former ball man, we're never all, and that's like, he's not just my teammate. He's like, he's not like, that's family to me. When I call him my brother, I have my volunteer brothers, but, you have some relationships that extend beyond. He's truly one of my best friends in this world. And, like I said, he's more than a friend. It's like my brother. But that 1 interception against Auburn, we'll talk about that later. But not only did he have, you hit his stats, and, he 2-time Pro Bowler with the Jets, Super Bowl with the Patriots. I was in Indianapolis around that time. But I also know he had a very, very great career at the University of Tennessee. And this is one of those things, and I said this with Dukes too, and I said it with a couple of people. I think his career doesn't get the appreciation and the respect that he deserves from that. And I don't know why that is, but his teammates and the players, everybody knows. But sometimes I don't think the fans give him the respect, whatever he deserves. And we'll get into some of that. We'll talk about Tennessee in a little bit. But also, I know he's going to have to give you these stats. He has some crazy, crazy stats at Westside High School in Anderson, South Carolina. Big Kat, give him your just the senior year. You don't even have to go back, but just give him your senior year stats from Westside.
Well, I had 37 sacks in one season.
So hold up, slow down. It's like say that 37. Peerless Price, 37 sacks.
37 sacks in one season. Yeah, I was averaging like 5 sacks a game.
And we play. I know California, Georgia, Texas, they get credit for their football, but especially in the upstate where he is, we play really good football in that part of the country. And to have 37 sacks is a big deal. Now, one stat that all those are impressive: the 37 sacks, 2 Pro Bowls, 73 and a half pro stats. You know where I'm going with this. All those stats are impressive. But the most impressive stat, I don't know how true it is, but I'm going to still put it out there. This man said he batted 1,000 playing baseball. He never got out growing up playing Little League or whatever baseball he played. He said he batted 1,000, which means he either he got a hit, he walked, got hit. He never struck out, never got put out, nothing. So that is the most impressive stat that this man has. Again, whether it's true or not, I'm still trying to verify this. I got people on it. I'm trying to verify if it's a real stat or not. But talk about before we get anything, let's tell them about the batting 1,000. Though I want to hear about that.
Well, like you just
because
said,
that's the most impressive thing. Yeah,
that's the story. Like start the season, I would hit home runs all the time. And then it got to a point where they would just start walking me, putting me on base. And from that point on, at that point in the season, I think I might have been, 15 years old at that time. I never got to hit again. I come up, they just put me on base. That was it.
So basically, you were Barry Bonds in Anderson.
If you want to say that, yeah.
All right.
More like King.
Before you, and I think most people know this too about you. And this was a thing. We had a couple, other people with basketball, but you were truly like basketball. You could have played college basketball. tell them about your your high school basketball career. I already told them on another story about your intramural Tennessee basketball, but tell them about basketball before you got to Tennessee. That's another impressive thing. Shows what kind of athlete you were.
Yeah, I grew up, basketball, sports, a ball period was my thing, so I was always gravitated, towards some sort of ball, basketball, football, soccer, baseball. Picked up a basketball, man. I started in 7th grade, and I pretty much had to teach myself how to play, then I got on the AAU team. My friends, I was kind of, tall for my age or whatever. Like, man, you need to come play with us. They putting together a team. And I went and did that. And, that was like, maybe 7th grade. And then 2 years later, I'm starting on varsity as a 9th grader, I made all conference all 4 years, played against some of the best players in the state of South Carolina. Kevin Garnett.
Name one of them. Show the one. There it is. You got to tell. That's right.
Yeah, Kevin Garnett, Jermaine O'Neal. Top talent. And there's other guys too. I can't remember them all right now. But then my senior year, I ended up getting awarded with McDonald's All-American, which I think a lot of people don't know. I got nominated to the McDonald's All-American team. I didn't play in the game, but I got the acknowledgement. There it was, man. It was, I played in North to South game in the state of South Carolina. Played in a lot of camps, top camps, and, also played in front of NBA scouts. So it was pretty much, man, it was basketball and football was my thing. Baseball, too. I gave up baseball in, might have been, 8? I gave up baseball 10th grade because I picked up and started playing AAU ball a lot, and that was a lot of traveling. And it was cutting in with baseball, so I decided, you know what, I like the traveling. I want to get away from my area a little bit, and I started playing AAU ball a lot. And it took me a lot of places, that I probably never got to see if I wouldn't have played ball. Football was pretty much just in my area, but basketball took me to different cities and different towns, different states, and it was fun with the guys, just building that friendship. I made a lot of friendship over the years, through AAU sports, through sports in general. So yeah, man, basketball was a big part of my life. Obviously when I went to Tennessee, I had to leave that behind. The time you talking about doing the intramural days, I was pretty much out of basketball then.
What made you pick? What made you pick basketball over football? Because to be at McDonald's, I mean, you're obviously elite in basketball. If you make the so what made you pick basketball over football?
I think it's the area I grew up in, the state I grew up in. Football was the thing. Football was the number one sport in South Carolina. So my school was a football school, so everything for me was just breeding football. And basketball was, it was more of an outlet from football, and, I just like the physicality in the game, which you really can't do that in basketball. So I felt like, and I really didn't get along with the referees because I felt like they can dictate your game so much, So that kind of just drew me straight to football because I felt like I could really be myself, in that. So, and plus, I was getting so much attention early in football, and then basketball too, but it just wasn't. I was getting all the letters from, I got boxes of letters that's from, all these different colleges for basketball, but I don't know. It was just something about South Carolina and football and the way it breathes down there. Like, it's just in you. If you're from the South, you go play football, and if you got a chance to go to college, you go play football. So it was just one of them things that it was just in me.
So because of course, whenever once you got there, you know how it is. Everybody from the state, they tend to congregate together. You follow what's going on behind you. So I saw you coming. I saw you probably. I think you got on my radar about your 10th grade year. I was like, I saw him. I watched him. I knew for sure. I was like, man, he going to Clemson. He right there by Anderson. I was like, he going to Clemson or somewhere else. And then once you started playing it out, and then I started seeing the list, I'm like, Tennessee. I'm like, yeah. So I remember when you came on your visit. So got to tell the story about the visit first, because people, teammates, they get to talking like, you know how it is. It's like you recruiting people that's like to take your job. Somebody's going to take your snaps, take your minutes. I've seen dudes. I'm not going to say anybody's name, but they'll try to deter a recruit from coming up there because they play the same position as them or something like that. And people like, because I wasn't your actual host when you came there. I'm not, so I'm not gonna say his name. So we know who. So Friday night, your host, I won't say his name, but his last name rhymes with Skittle, and he's from Asheville, North Carolina. He's from, so people can figure out who that is. But my man, he's always known. Everybody loves him. He'll catch you on Friday. You get to dinner. Then Friday night, Saturday, you're gonna have to fend for yourself if you're a recruit. So I got the call Friday night. I think I met you down in the lobby at the hotel. You sit down there. I think you had your headphones on, sitting there. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I remember him because I had came from Coach Chapin. Just had brought us from Gus, and that was my first time eating Gus burger. And Chief, I never forget. Chief was like, get what you want. I never been to Gus before. I don't know the burgers or whatever. So I'm like, give me, 2 double cheeseburgers with fries. Chief looked at me. Gus looked at me like, you sure? You sure you want 2 double cheeseburgers with fries? I'm like, yeah. Chief like, he don't know, Gus. He don't know. So when I got them burgers, man, when I tell you them burgers was like this big, I was like, and you know what? I ate them too because they were so good. They were so good. So we had
I went from 2:30 to 2:45.
Huh?
That's all. I went from 2:30 to 2:45 when I first got there because of Gus. But
yeah. So we got there. We got into the Gibbs right there in the lobby, and he was like, "Yeah, you gonna meet up with your chaperone and whatever." But I ain't gonna say no name. I'm not gonna say no name. Next thing you know, he never showed up. And here comes Jeff. He comes down like, man, you with me. You crib, it wouldn't be, no other way. And I think also at the time, Ike Curry was there. Me and Ike, we became real, real good friends through this whole process, and so I think you was with Ike. And then you end up.
Yeah, I had Ike because Ike was from my high school, so I had Ike. So it's like we got both of them.
Yeah, so he got both of us, and we just had a ball, man. He just showed us around, showed us a good time, like how they do things, when they met the team, and from that point, like I was sold. I was sold from that point. Just the camaraderie, the genuine feeling that I got being, at that program amongst the players, and how just from when we went upstairs and went into the room, just from that 5 minutes of being in there, I was like, you know what? They real, real close. Like I sense brotherhood, and it stuck on me right there. I was like, yeah, this is where I need to be. This is where I need to be. And then also Jeff being from South Carolina, that helped, and then seeing, what he did, and he was, telling me what was going on around there and how it was, and, basically how, you just go love it here. We serious, we're about football, you go love it. And it was just one of them things. It was just like, like a brotherhood. And me and him hit it off from the jump, from the jump. It was just like we've been knowing each other forever. And that was good. That was good of him, genuine of him, because even though I knew Ike, and it was like him and Ike was like real, real close, and he just accepted me just from day one. And then I guess Layman Dewberry too is another guy that we we knew too, and it was just all good, man. It was just all good, and I got into the room, and even though I got stood up,
No, he don't mean anything, man. It was always love. That's a running joke, by the way, for everybody. Everybody knows that's a running joke.
It didn't bother me no way because I had you there, so it was just all right. He ain't coming. I'm with you. Plus you from South Carolina anyway, so we just hit it off. It was just like kids from the neighborhood just hanging out. That's what it felt like.
Right.
And, you showed me around. We had a great time. And ate some Gus burgers. Like I think again later that night.
Ate some more. We had Gus again. But then you get there, and then your locker is right beside mine. And 92, 93. So I had to see this man every day. Here, and that just, it was one of those things, man. It was, everybody had bad days, and just I know me make sure because I made a bunch the first 2 years, and trying to make sure, as much as I could to watch out for and make my mistakes, but just picking each other up, just laughing, being able to talk, just sit there sometimes. They ain't even talking about football, but that's really where I think a lot of that bond was formed, man. Just sitting there before and after practice. Just being beat, just sitting there at the locker room, man. So, that was always a good time. So when you got there, tell me this. So when you got there, what did? Because I remember distinctly my first two. I remember my first two practices there. I remember the freshman practice, and I remember my very first practice. Tell me, do you remember what your first couple practices were like out there?
Well, I had the first couple practices. I had some personal issues going on at home, like with my family and whatever, and that kind of made me like emotional, So right. I was kind of like, I was emotional. So a couple things, kind of like pissed me off, and I remember John JB used to. I don't know, he used to crack jokes or whatever. I wasn't really feeling his jokes. And I remember pushing him out of stands. I remember pushing him out of stands. I don't know if he remembered that or not. I think that was the very first practice. I remember Coach Caldwell just yelling at me, "What you doing, son? It ain't right." And I'm just sitting like, man, this how college is? Like, darn. Like, that first day. And then I seen Debo come down the hill. I'm like, Doran Walker, he coming down. I think that might have been his first day. I'm like, who is this dude here now? Like, I didn't know that was Doran at the time. So, so I'm like, okay, so, Doran coming in. So I'm like, okay, so how's this? Like, I ain't know no other DN. So now I'm looking at numbers and positioning myself. Then I'm seeing what's already there and whatever. So I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I may have picked the wrong school. You know what I'm saying? But, I was like, what, it ain't where it's competition. I'm going to stick it out, and from talking with Jeff, it was just like, man, come on, man, just practice, just, just let everything go, leave home, and whatever. So my first 2 days were pretty much dealing with stress from being highly recruited, coming to the school, being away from home, and then also having to go through practice with that on my mind, and then having doubt about myself, and then having, just uncertainty. And plus I was a prop 48, so I'm just sitting there. I feel like I was kind of like just sparing a little bit. And then, I don't want to say I wasn't approachable, but I was on edge.
You weren't approachable. I'm gonna tell you, there was only a few people that could approach you at the time.
Yeah.
But it's fun, it's crazy, and I want to just go back over there because I know some high school kids and parents of high school kids are going to hear that. You were one of the most highly recruited defensive players coming out of high school that year. You had the stats, you had all the physical tools, you ended up being a first round draft pick. I think it was 12. You got drafted 12. And you talk about how it was I won't say a struggle, but it was tough for you to make that adjustment. And people need to hear that because to see how you came out on the other end of it and to see what type of steps you had to go through and the process you had to go through to get there. That stuff, it looks to you out there on Saturday. Some people may not even remember that you had to sit out there yet. And I know how mentally tough that is to have to sit out. I had to sit out my freshman year because of injuries. You had to sit out your first year and to try to go out there, practice, get better, knowing you're not going to play that at that time, trying to adjust, being away from home, all that stuff going on. People don't understand. And when you see people that sometimes don't make it, they either quit, there's other things that could easily happen. It's a tough road to go through, and it's just you gotta, sometimes you gotta have the right people around you. You gotta have a good support system, and you have to have a toughness about your mental and physical toughness about you to make it on the other side of that. Because it didn't take long for you to once you got it, and you started rising from there. But that's one of those things, man. And I hope you tell that to people that like they may think your role was easy, but man, it's not. And you have a lot of people there in front, like you say, you see people at 3 people deep at every position.
Yeah. And then, also on top of that, like I said, with the personal issues, and I was expecting a baby.
Yeah.
At the same time.
I was gonna let you tell it.
Yeah.
We knew
So it was
that
just
was
like,
coming.
it was all coming like boom, like all at once. And, it was a lot of praying. Also, like you said, having good role models around you, good teammates that the guys that I was talking to, like Jeff, Raynot, Fred, like I was able to, be able to open up to them and they would, be like, yo, man, just keep doing you, don't worry about this. Everything will be all right. It's going to get easy, blah, blah, blah. And then they would tell me like their stories and their experiences when they first got there and how everything got better. So I just relied on that. And I just put my daughter, just put that on my back. Like I got to do it for her, like everything else. Like I got to do it for her. I got to go through this process for her. No matter what, because it did get demanding. It did. College football is hard. Like a lot of people don't understand that. It takes a lot of time, a lot of demand, and also being a student athlete, a student on top of that grades didn't come too easy to, So I ended up just putting all that aside and trusting in my process and trusting in my teammates, and they helped pull me through it, man. And I don't know if a lot of people really knew exactly what I was going through at that particular time, but it really pulled me through. It was a lot of also being academically ineligible. It was like, am I even gonna make it to next year? Am I even gonna be here long enough, to be able to play? Because
but with that, you put in the work with that too. You glossed over that. Now I don't want you to just act like it just happened. I mean, I saw you going to study hall. I saw you going to tutoring. I saw you doing the stuff that it took to get there. So it's not like that was just something that nobody gave you a grade. Nobody gave you any kind of whatever. That was work that was put in for that. And I think that's one of those things you do need to not like just put that out and let people know the type of work that you put in to get through that part of it.
Yeah, I ended up making all SEC academic honor roll my freshman year. So it was just like, you know what? Regardless of what the past was, like this is my present right now. So I have to live in this moment, and start something new and do something new. And that's what I did, man. I just put my focus into that, and once I did that and I narrowed my concentration down, it was like floodgates just opened up. And I was having fun. I was to myself. I was back to myself, hanging out with the guys and going to school and doing that. It was just like, okay, I had to figure out how to manage this college life, coming from Anderson, which is, the environment is tough, like most inner city hoods and stuff like that. It's a little different. It's a different vibe to it. That's basically just what I want to say. And being able to be away from that and being in a whole different environment with new teammates that you never met before, then all of a sudden you seeing like I think you tend to miss that that some guys been there before you, and your class coming
Mhm.
in, you seeing how fun your class is having it, and then you like dealing with these
Right.
issues. You like, what is wrong with me? You know, how come they having so much fun and I'm sitting here like stressing over some things? You know,
Yeah.
and once I was able to compartmentalize all that, understand that some of them, not all of them, some of them went through the same stuff that I had to go through. You know, the stress
Right.
of it, and they balanced it. They got it together, and then they was able to move forward and move on from it. So,
Yeah.
my first year was a real growth year for me, and I think because of that, it led me to where I am now.
Man, you just hit it on the head, man. Because you get plucked out of Anderson, you get plucked out of Gavin. They drop you off in Knoxville. Nobody tells you or gives you a roadmap as to how this is supposed to work. You have personal issues. You're like 18. Well, Billy was 17. So you 17, 18, 19 years old. You know, and you still growing up. You figure out who you are. You got these demands with football, demands with school. You trying to just put it all together and figure it out. And that's, a lot of what you're talking about is some of what I went through, man. I'm sitting there watching, when I'm sitting out my freshman year, I'm watching Terry Fair, Marcus Nash, that whole freshman class just go out there. And I'm like, by that time, I'm in a boot, like just sitting there. And it's like, I'm like, am I even supposed to be here or whatever else? I don't even know. I'm like you doubt myself, but I had people to step in and help. Like that same thing that, I tried to do for you and other people that came around, came after me. I had older guys that were, helping to pick me up, lift me up. You can see it. Like I can see you. You can see that you were angry. Like I said, you were hard, but I didn't have to approach you. I was already sitting beside you. My locker was already right there. Some days I came with the trying to talk. You ain't even want to talk to me. It's just like, I was like, all right, I'll leave him alone today because he really, really on one. So it's just like, just by chance, we had that connection. I was sitting there to be able to, sometimes, go ahead and talk about it more times than not. But yeah, it's tough, man. And coming on the other side of it. So
Yeah.
One thing but you figured it out. That's the segue is you figured it out. And once you got on the field, like I keep watching the chat. There's something I'm gonna get to it because that's what the people want to talk to. But give me some of your favorite moments on the field. Like we talked about, give me some of your favorite on the field moments at Tennessee. Because we got to get. Don't look at that. We gonna get to the tip, but I'll look at these comments. Give me some of your favorite moments.
I was looking at, got my attention.
So it's coming. It's like they want to talk. We're gonna talk about that one play. But I'll tell you my favorite. My favorite that involved all of us. Is you give me some of your favorites. Some of the favorite moments on the field.
Favorite moment. Well, the interception is not my favorite moment. So let's put that.
I know that. I know that. We also. I know.
Well, the top of the list was laying down doing the Snow Angel after we won the national championship. That was the best moment right there. That was the best moment.
In the confetti? Yeah.
Yeah, in the confetti. And then I think the other best moment in that same game before the game started, Florida State basically they opened up a can of whoop.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they, our locker room was right beside each other, and they came in and started doing a lot of talking and woofing like they wanted to come in our locker room and fight us or something. But calling us mountain boys and all this other stuff. Like half our team from Florida, South Carolina, from South. You know what I'm saying? Like, how we mountain boys? So they didn't understand the breeze that was in that locker room. I don't think. And when we came there, we meshed. I think the fear in their eyes when they tried to bully us and they realized we were the one that bullied the bullies. I think it was just game over from there. I think we won it right there. They offense didn't have a chance. They offense
made a mistake.
That's
on that part.
Yeah, that was a mistake on their part.
That was
beating Florida.
That was a mistake on their part.
Yeah, beating Florida with the field goal, beating Florida. They 10 on the goalpost. That whole series of game was epic, and
It was.
Everybody was making plays in that game. Everybody. First screen, second screen, like everybody was making plays. Like we was dialed in. Obviously the Auburn goal line stands.
That's my number one. And it's crazy to say, but that's my number one just because of the situation. And, you know,
just because
you right. Not having Jamal. And I think
not having Al.
T got sacked right before that play, and they were fumbling the ball around, and they got it like the one they fell on it. And if you remember when we ran out there on the field, there was a small pocket of Tennessee fans right there.
Tennessee fans,
like they were right there at our back because the ball was on the. If you're facing it, it was on the right hash, well, left hash if you're coming out. So and they were right there in that corner. You couldn't have even like if we asked them to come over there, you couldn't have put them in a better position. You couldn't put them in a better position. And I know what Bowden was doing when they ran, and he ran basically the same play 4 times in a row. It was just like if they thought they could bullet, if we can't score and just run right at you, we don't deserve to get. And I actually respect him for doing that. He didn't try to get you. He didn't try. He's just like, we're gonna run it at you, and they actually went backwards. And that was like, then I was like, that was it. That was the one.
That's the thing. Like, you know how hard it is to get to stop somebody 4 straight downs on the one,
especially with the horse today. With the line they had, I mean, they were tough, man.
Yeah,
and we down on the Plains. I know we had our pocket, but the rest of their crowd was them. That's why I said the situation made that for me. That was like my favorite play of the year. But we got that 90-yard. So now we got to talk about the interception return. So I'm gonna just give you my part of it, then I'm gonna just shut up because they have broke. That's why you're gonna tell your part of why, because they broke a long run. I think the play right before that to get it down there. I was tired. I tapped out. I came out. That's because. But when you ran that touchdown, I was over there on the knee, getting doused with water or whatever, because we had ran a long way to play before that. I'm gonna stop right there, just let you pick it up. Go ahead, pick it up from there.
70-some yards.
Yeah,
we ran like 70-something. I think it was like 70-something yards. He broke. Rusty.
It was a long. Was it Rusty? It was Rusty. Broke a long.
Rusty.
Another South Carolina boy.
Yeah, I played
South Carolina boy.
Yeah, and I also played against that quarterback too at Hart County in high school. Yeah. Which I didn't understand why they was trying to run the option with him. I felt like that was the stupidest thing. Like he's not an option quarterback. But anyway. Rusty broke it out like 70 yards or whatever, and like we do practice, we pursue the ball.
Yeah,
we pursue the ball. You know, no matter where it's at, we got to get there. We got to be in the picture on the tackle. You know, and that was just bred in us, and it was like no hesitation at all. We just struck out, and just took off running. You know. And luckily we did because we ended up stopping him from making the touchdown.
Right. We stopped him. I came out. I was out.
Yeah, Deuce and Dia, we came from behind and jumped. You know, they tackled, but we helped too, you know, and got him down on the ground. And the very next play, Corey Terry, they ran the option pad. The very next play, Corey Terry hit the quarterback. They was running a shovel pass play. Right, where the quarterback come down the line and pitch it off to the inside to the running back, and Corey Terry hit him, and the ball went up in the air, and I'm, coming down the line doing my job, pursuing, make sure no cutback. I'm tired already. Now the ball come to my hand, I'm like, I gotta run all the way back down there.
Boy. I was tired looking at you. I was like, man, I felt bad looking at you.
Yeah, I'm ready for the moment, though. I'm like, I got a chance. I caught it. Make sure I ain't drop it, because I was like, boom, caught it. And then I got out. I had to break a tackle now. And that was lost my balance. When I had to break the tackle, I lost my balance, and my stride was messed up. And I'm running, going. Next thing you know, I'm thinking this, Auburn running behind me trying to get me. I look behind.
They trying to take the ball. They all trying to take the ball. And
you hear a word, pass it to me, Cat. Pass it to me. I'm sitting there. I'm like, man, there go Dion, Raynard, give it to me. Then they just started blocking.
Look.
I'm like, I'm keeping this ball.
Worman just got the game because he out there running on his tiptoes. He was fresh. He just got the game. He running in front of you. Like
he trying to show out to act like show people he faster than me. That's all that was. Yeah. Trying to show out. I'm sitting there, I'm running. Got to the end zone, fell down. I was happy. Got to the sideline. I believe that oxygen mask stayed on me for about 5 series. I don't think I went back in the game about 5 series. And it was just so like, because that off season, I worked so hard like to even get back for game 1, from my car accident. And it was just to be able to do that and get that reward and having to run like that. And I'm like, man, it was just so surreal. Like that was like an aha moment, like a good feel moment right there, considering that I was even back to even do that,
Right.
Because, what I'm saying, it was just one of them things to where, I could have lost my career behind that car accident, So, he pulling it up.
You can see me on the sideline somewhere over there, just on me, breathing hard, watching. I couldn't even cheer for you, man. I was too tired to even cheer, bro. No, I was cheering in my head. Here it is.
You see my scribe.
But watch Worm.
Messed up anyway.
Come on, where's Worm? Okay, watch Worm.
Anyway, they should just let me fall.
Look at Worm. Give me the ball. Give me the ball. Look at Worm.
Yeah.
Looking around.
Man.
Pitch it.
Yeah, man. That was and not knowing like how big of a game that was.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think we realized the impact of this game if we would have lost this game.
Yeah, well, I mean, that for whatever that year, they were all on Kansas State, UCLA, Florida State. Nobody was, because first of all, we started out the year 17, 18. Nobody, if we lost the game, it was like, oh, see, we told you they weren't any good anyway. So yeah, we didn't have any margin for error. We could lose the game.
We had a margin.
They weren't going. Nah.
And they defense, they had a good defense. Auburn
man, they had a hell of a defense.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a tough, like, just not game. That was just a tough. The same thing with Georgia. We ended up winning 20, but that game was close for a long time. And that, like, that there could have, a couple plays with that play, that if they the T fumble, if they put that in and get, score a touchdown with that, that could change the tide of the game. There was 3 or 4 plays, 2-3 plays in that game that could have changed the whole side of it. It was just a tough, just go at it type of game, man, the whole time. It was just one of them tough SEC games.
Yeah, it was, man. That was a real like dogfight game. And then when Jamal went out, cause I think Jamal he had like 200 yards before he got hurt. Like
he was, I don't know, but and that was tough. That was, we could have like laid down because you see your best guy go down. It's like for a minute, it was like deflating. It was like it's the wind out of us for a minute.
Right. Yeah. He goes down. The offense is struggling, and then it was like the defense. Like we didn't have Al. It was just like this is our moment. You know what I'm saying? To pull this game out. You know what I'm saying? It was like, and we did it, man. I think we was on the field last to close the game off, right? We was on defense was on the field to end the game.
It's a couple times we closed it out. But it's funny, you named all those situations. I didn't one game I didn't hear, because correct me if I'm wrong. Your senior year, didn't you have 3 sacks against Syracuse one game? Didn't you have what'd you have against Syracuse? What'd you do against Syracuse your senior year? Didn't y'all play Syracuse your senior year?
My last year though.
What year was that y'all played Syracuse?
That was 98. Remember we played in the very first game.
Didn't y'all play? I know we played them. Didn't y'all play them again?
No. That was against Georgia. That was against Georgia.
Okay. Yeah.
Georgia.
I don't know why I thought. Okay, they played Syracuse. They skipped a year. They played them again in 2000. I think. Okay.
Freeney was there. The white
Freeney.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
another thing I'm real proud of, and it's just to be so you got the picture I sent you earlier today, because playing against South Carolina, what was that like for you? Because it was always weird for me, and when growing up in South Carolina, I was more of because I really didn't like Clemson at all. So I had to pick. You had to pick somebody. So I picked South Carolina. But I never. I mean, I wasn't gonna go there, but I didn't say anything bad about it or anything else. I went down there my freshman year. I wasn't even playing. I was in a cast. I was like in a sweatsuit and whatever else, and then I dressed out for the game. Well, I was on the field for the game, and I came out, man, and they had signs like I was playing, like I was really gonna do something, like talking bad about me because I was from South Carolina, I left the state, and all this other stuff. So from that minute on, it went from like, all right, I respected it because I was home, but then after they did that to a kid like who hadn't done a thing to anybody, just made a choice that was best for me. They did that. So it was like every year after that, I was like, you know what? Let's go ahead and get it. What was your thing with South? There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
So this was one of the things I was most proud of because before they put this out when we were playing the week we played South Carolina because we got our brother Corey Terry there, who's the one North Carolina boy, but that was our Carolina connection. I started defensive line with the Walterboro with Debo from Walterboro. We were Anderson and the Gabby boys. So that was special to me. Like we all played. Like it didn't really matter who was out there first because we all played because with Worm and all our rotation. But to run us out there, to be out there with them, that was something special. That's not to slight nobody else, but just to have all the Carolina boys out there together was something special.
Yeah, that was big. That was big. I really don't think we even realized the significance of that at the time.
I didn't at the time, no.
Like it didn't dawn on us, I guess, until that picture came out.
Because when I saw it, I didn't even really, I didn't think about it until, because I think Coach Brooks showed it to me. He was like, come here. And I was like, it's for one, I know why they did it because it was a recruiting thing too. I'm not, I'm not crazy. I ain't stupid. I know they were recruiting, and that was one of those things to where it didn't connect until I saw this. Right. And it was like, but yeah, that was something special. And then, to go out there and do it again against South Carolina. I think they did. Yeah. The last two, they were 1-10, 0-11. Yeah. It couldn't have happened to a better program than South Carolina.
During those, I don't know about now, but during those times we played South Carolina, it was like a homecoming. It felt like a homecoming. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like. Being able to go back there, play against your home state school. That you could have went to, a lot of your friends, that you played with throughout the state is on the team, and to be able to go there and be on the field playing against them, it was a weird feeling, but it felt like homecoming,
yeah, because I think I had like 50 people there, and it was like, and I give them credit. I give them a hard time, but I do give them credit for one thing. I think the year 98 when we went there, I forget they went 1-10 and 0-11 back to back. They may have been 0 that year, but the stadium was still packed. Like there was still tailgate, and they still supported them, and that stadium was still packed. I mean, I know a lot of them were Tennessee fans, but still, they had a lot of South Carolina people to show up to that stadium, and that's still one of those atmospheres. That's what makes college football special. When they play that 2001 song, the whole entry. I give them credit for that. It makes the game fun. It makes it special, and it makes it was fun to beat them. But yeah.
Yeah, I saw somebody on the text. They said, "Did I consider Georgia?"
I ignored that.
At one point early on in my recruiting process, I did consider Georgia, but they had a lot of uncertainty in their coaching and all that, and I think they. Head coach at the time ended up getting fired. They had changed the coaches, so they lost a lot of potential recruits at that particular time as well. So Georgia, Georgia was in the early on. Georgia was in the So a lot of people don't know it came down for me. It came down to Tennessee and Florida. That was the two schools, Tennessee and Florida. So.
It was Florida. I don't even know if I knew that exact. Maybe I did. I think I did know that. But like, yeah.
You remember I tell you how they used to come
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
the
The
basketball
Florida game.
games? Put me on a
Don't
little
say don't
small
say that. Don't
private
say that
jet.
out loud, man. Don't say that out loud, man. We
Okay.
even though I don't like, even though I hate them. I don't want. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that. Talk about that later.
Yeah. It
So
was well, they selling point at the time was like, we're gonna have you and Curse, da da da.
because they're trying to replace Kevin Carter. You were the net. You were kind of
Yeah.
like Kevin Carter to there. Yeah.
Actually, Kevin Carter was my he
Your
was my
host.
host.
Yeah. I can see that.
I went down there and got sick. That's my first time realizing I was allergic to shellfish. And I realized that when I was down there. Yeah.
So shout out to the shrimp for sending this man back to Knoxville.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to the shrimp.
Yeah, man.
So man,
yeah.
that was. I mean, we know we glad you ended up there. That whole that was a special year for us. So I want to leaving. So once you got, you're getting out. So you guys come back in '99. I got to spend a little bit of time with this because I've said it elsewhere, and I got to get your take on this because I like most of the time, the story ends. For me, it ends in '98, but if you're going into '99, and I'll just give me a minute just to kind of set the table for this a little bit, because if you're looking on defense, I'm gonna use the word loss, but it's not like you lose because what we replaced it with a lot of stuff. On the defensive line, I left Ron Green graduated. I mean Corey Terry, maybe somebody else. I know there was 3 left. Linebackers, of course, you had to be like, we lose Al. Who else we lost? I know we bring back Emo, Raynaud, and then Dominique stepped in. But like even on the defensive line, you come back, Debo comes back, Big Worm. Got the young boys coming up. You got D'Angelo, you got Constantine, you got Will Overstreet, you got Rashard, you got, and I know I'm missing somebody. These are just the guys that
Big joke, Big Henderson and Albert Hayward.
And that was their first. So they come in, talking about some of the guys that were like, then you bring all these guys in. So what we lost was like, in my mind, I'm like, we doubled up more than replaced. We lost. And then guys that were, again, playing already the year before they weren't starting coming up. You had the same situation at linebacker, like, but let me skip over the linebacker. I'm gonna come back to that. So even in the secondary, we lost Steve Johnson and we lost as starters. I think that's it. Who else was older at secondary that was playing a lot? I think that's it. Everybody else was coming back, and you had Andre Lott, you had Mickey, you had like every position. We had guys that could play that were already there that were coming back, like just stepping up, and then we bringing in more young guys. It was like that's just on the defensive side. Then it was the same situation on offense. If somebody had bet me my life savings that night, I would have bet the house. I would have bet everything short of my life that y'all would have gone not just undefeated, but I didn't think anybody was going to come close to beating y'all in 1999. I didn't understand how they could beat you in 1999. What the hell happened?
Well, I don't can speak for the defense.
No, you can speak for the offense too because you saw it. Don't just. Yeah. You can speak for both of them. You was there.
I mean, we was pretty much good. We lost to Florida. We went down. We lost to Florida, and I think that took a little bit of sting. It took a little bit of sting off us a little bit. It took a little bit of fire out a little bit when we lost to Florida down there, which a game that I think we should have won. We had a lot of bad tackling, and then we gave up 5 sacks to Alice Brown. I don't know how the hell that happened. And then we let the tight end catch the ball. 5 people right there to make the tackle. He just run through all 5 of them. So that was just a letdown game mentally for us. And I think after that we kind of got on the roll, right? And then we got to Arkansas.
Oh,
and then we lost to Arkansas in Arkansas, and that killed our season right there. I think if we win that game against Arkansas, we go back to the next championship game.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't hear you.
I agree. If you could have lost to Florida and then beat Arkansas, you would have been okay.
Yeah, because we lost to Florida early. You know, that was like the second game. We lost third game. We lost to them early. Then when we got to Arkansas, it was late in the year. You know, SEC, you can't lose late in the year. You know, you can't lose late. And we end up losing that game kind of the same way how we won the game last time, the year before that.
Look at Billy Rattler. Look at Billy Rattler trolling in the comments, man.
Yeah. We was in the same situation. They have the ball and whatever, and we trying to get the ball back. But this time they executed more. You know, they protected the ball. They played more smart. And to this day, I really still don't know how we didn't go back to the next championship game.
Let me. Can I give you my take from the outside?
I think defensively. I think defensively, a huge person that we lost that year was Chris Ramsey.
Oh, Chris, yeah.
I think
Chris went out, yeah.
When Chris, whatever happened to him, got hurt or he ended up having to leave the school, we lost him. And Dominique had to learn how to play Mike linebacker. Right, I think they moved him from running back, whatever, to the.
Well, he had played. They moved him the year before. He was playing. Mike, he was playing Sam. He was playing some. Yeah.
Yeah, he was playing more outside, right?
Yeah, he was playing some Sam. Yeah.
Yeah, when you go in the middle, you know, he got the calls and all that. So he had to pretty much. Not that he couldn't play because he did a damn good job at it. It was just. You know, he was running on the fly, and he was always single
on the fly. No.
On the fly.
So,
and
you said something. Hold on, because you just touched on somebody, Chris Ramsey. So I'm gonna hop back a year because you mentioned the Auburn game. Al was out. I think Vanderbilt game, Georgia game. There were 3-4 games where Al was either out or missed parts of the game. And I'm not gonna say you can't say you don't miss a beat when you don't have Al, but we didn't drop off because Chris Ramsey played his, and that's the name. Chris was hell good. So that shout out to Chris Ramsey, man. That was all the people to back up. But yeah, that was one of those things that I don't think again doesn't get talked about. And it slipped my mind the first time because we mentioned Al not being there, and then when you mentioned it in the context of you lost him again in next year, and I've forgotten about that. Like, okay, that makes a lot of sense now.
Yeah. I mean, he couldn't replace Al, obviously, right? But I don't want to say it was that close, but he was a good.
Well, he showed the year before what he did, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And he had the mouth to the defense, you know, and he knew his stuff. He knew it.
Right.
You know, so when we got in game, we would have to make a call. Maybe the call got in late, he would make that call. You know what I'm saying? He was used to doing that. And he learned that from Al. You know what I'm saying? Right. So with Dominique, it's like he didn't have that familiarity with the defense to be able to make those certain adjustments and calls like that on the fly when the calls is coming in late. You know what I'm saying? And I think that kind of hurt us a little bit. But he got better. He got a whole lot better throughout the season. And
he did. He absolutely did. Yeah, it's and people that like, and you know, I want to add some context so somebody won't think that you're trying to the difference between Will, Sam, Mike. People like, oh, it's just you're 2 feet over, 3 feet over. It's a big difference between going from Sam when you're over the tight end and you know where you're going. You a lot of other stuff dictates what you do from moving to Mike and lining everybody up, changing everybody, and it's a lot of different stuff. So to do that in midstream. And to be able to try to call the defenses and the beat vote, that's a big deal. And like you said, you know, it took a while to get adjusted, but you know, he obviously he went on playing the NFL. He did a great job at it. So shout out to Nick too. Another Gaffney boy.
Yeah.
So So man, but I'm gonna give you my short take. You tell me if I'm wrong. You can disagree with, because we haven't disagreed on, because just to tell people, more times than not, when me, him, and Deuce, when we talk, we're arguing and we disagree about literally everything. We don't agree about we be arguing about anything. So you can tell me if you disagree with what I'm saying. Just from the outside looking in, it was one of those situations to where, because I heard what you said about Florida and whatever else. I don't even understand how anybody was that close to. And this isn't me knocking y'all. This is me giving y'all the ultimate respect, because I knew how much talent y'all had, because I knew the guys I knew those young boys that were coming up, which is hell. It's just like my from what I saw, and you said it took the ump out of y'all when y'all lost to like Florida or Arkansas, but I don't know if I ever saw it the way it needed to, because when you coming up, like, you know how we had so much pent up whatever to get over that hump to win a national championship, and a lot of those guys that contributed were young guys. They were sophomores, juniors, and guys coming back. So it's like you kind of exhale a little bit, and I think it looks like they came out and it's like everybody was content and everybody was a little bit complacent. And I don't know, because you knew that y'all were good too, and I think you feel like we can just show up and we can beat people, and you still got the people that y'all playing, you still got to play. And if y'all, I don't think y'all played up to the potential that y'all had, is what I see. And whether it was mental breakdowns or people, I know Worm got hurt again that year, other people got hurt, but that shouldn't have derailed y'all, because we had enough people to step in. But I just think it was kind of, people got a little bit off the hog at that point, and they were just like, we did it last year, we missed it this year.
Yeah. I mean, we were still working, guys are still working hard, busting their tail. I just think a lot of in-house scheme-wise changed. See what I'm saying?
Because Ramsey wasn't there. Ramsey was gone, right? Ramsey was gone.
Yeah, Ramsey was gone. And then they brought in a new D-back coach, and I know the DBs.
Slade, yeah.
Right. They wasn't on the same page. The coach and the DBs wasn't on the same page. And they felt like that they should just continue doing what they was doing when we won the championship.
Because it worked, obviously.
And then this new coach, he want to put new secondary schemes to certain fronts that wasn't right, and they felt like it wasn't right, and they clashed back there, right?
Yeah.
And I noticed that we didn't do a lot of blitzing no more, like how we blitz a lot. We didn't do that as much because because of the I think because of the secondary altercations that they was having on the schemes. Like,
that makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of things wasn't as aggressive as it was before, but it still on the outside looked like it was the same, but it wasn't,
Okay,
so
that makes sense.
It made the linebackers and D-line was pretty much, we just ran what it was called. We just we did our thing up front, but I can see that the linebackers and the secondary sometimes wasn't on the same page. And the Arkansas game, you saw that. It came out in that game.
Yeah. You're right, yeah.
Because we had that game won. And then we busted coverages back there. It wasn't like they bust coverages. It was the scheme. And they found the loophole, and, that's how they was beating us. But it wasn't like people was getting beat. It was like the scheme of it, like how they had to read certain things, and they found it, and they left the post open back there. And that's how
I was about to say that post. That was exactly That was it. So that's a good breakdown. So
yeah, and we didn't play good either, but we played all right to win that game.
you played good enough to win the game. So
Yeah.
that's my 99 story. I'm gonna talk anybody that was around. I'm always talking about it because I'm in disbelief by that. But again, that's out of respect for y'all. That's not like saying anything, but that's just how much I respected what y'all had coming back next year. So
I mean, another thing I can add to that also, I don't want to take away what up from the overall chemistry of the team and things like that, but I think off the field we wasn't as focused the year before. That I think that played a little bit into it as well.
That's what I was getting at. That's what I talked about before. Some of the I think it was more so some of that, and like that's human nature. You can't, that's some of the things you can't account. That's why when they say stuff looks good on paper, that kind of stuff doesn't show up on paper. So
yeah,
man. So you now coming out of that year, so with that little bit of disappointment, you had another. You could have come back the next year. You had another year of eligibility.
Yeah.
Right. So what went into your decision making, and when did you know? Like, I've given my all for Tennessee today, and it's time to move on.
Well, I was a little upset that I didn't make All-American.
Right. That was bogus, but
right. So I was, seeing some of the ends that made it, and then when you fast forward to the draft, and I was picked before them.
It was bogus. We all know that. It was bogus. So
yeah. So after we lost to Nebraska in the Fiesta Bowl, right? It was just in my heart that it was time for me to go. It was part of it. It was in my heart that it was time for me to go. And being out there, just like I just felt like it was my time to go. It was my time to go to the next level. And what solidified it was when, after the game you had the meeting with the coach, right? And you go into the office at the bowl site and you had that one-on-one talk with Coach Chavis and your defensive coach and the head coach, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they pretty much telling you your status for the next level, what grade you got and blah blah blah, right? And pretty much they was like there's no reason for you to come back. They was like, you can go, change your family lives. It's like basically we could be selfish and tell you to, we need you to come back, but you got an A grade. You can't get no higher than this. You know what I'm saying? And it's a solid grade, So, and when I left out of there, it just confirmed that, it was time for me. It was time for me to go on.
And we'll stop with that for a second, because people here, and we've all talked about coaches and being selfish and things of that nature. And that's not to say that you wouldn't have gone anyway, but they could have easily told you, like, man, we're disappointed this year. You didn't make All-American. Come back and get your All-American status. Let's try to run it back and win it again. They could have easily told you that.
Yeah.
And they didn't. Some could be said. There's something to be said for that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of coaches.
Yeah. Right. It wasn't no pressure or nothing. Just like you said, like, hey, they could have lied to me. They could have did anything. It was just, they understood Chief and Coach Former. They understood my background, and they couldn't stand in the way of that, and also the uncertainty of coming back may not be the same. Get hurt, get whatever, the risk you take, with doing that. And I would have loved to come back. When I sit back and look at it, I would have loved, now I would have been in that position like a Al or Leonard been like the main guy. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because all y'all was gone. You know, I would have been the old head. It would have been me. You know, y'all was gone.
Yeah.
And you know, and it was
You
just
made the
one
right
of
choice.
just one of them things.
You did that. You made the right choice. That was because if you said you were coming back, I'd have blew your phone up, man. Like, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing here? Yeah, it was something.
I don't know if I told you this. I was getting pressure during the season, right? You know how the scouts, how they come in, right?
Mm-hmm.
The scouts from the NFL team, how they come
Mm-hmm.
in, and I never forget. Like I used to sit there. You know how we all go into the locker room, into the training room. We get taped and go get our little tape and stuff, whatever. How we used to sit out there on the bench and put the stuff on, whatever, and go out. There were times I would be there by myself trying to get out to practice, and I would have like teams like come over to me and tell me to stay. Like they want to take me with their first pick
Because they didn't have the right draft pick that year. Yeah.
Huh?
Because they didn't have the right draft pick that year to get you. They want you to come back the next year. Yeah.
They wanted me to come back next year, and I think at the time. I think the San Diego Chargers had the first pick, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they end up trading a pick away or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. And I know that was one of the teams that was that would come there and like whispers, don't leave, we got our pick, da da da, and then he'll run off. You know what I'm saying? Like that. And it was and it was very like, it made you think like, damn, man, but like, I can't trust that. You can't give it to me in paper. I can't trust that. You know what I'm saying? You can't write it in the contract. So I can't trust that. So everything worked out how it's supposed to work out, man.
It did. JETS Jet.
Yeah, I ended up where I was supposed to be, and I had a blast playing for the Jets. And it was just
hold on. Pause right there. So pause right there. So we had somebody who was in that huge. Their brothers are huge Jet fans. Tyrone Stevens, man, he said his brother's a huge Jets fan. Said he asked if you would give him a shout out because he's such a big Jets fan.
What's up, Tyrone?
Tyrone.
Yeah, man. Appreciate your support. Sorry we couldn't bring that Super Bowl to your way. But we tried, man. We tried. It was just Brady in the way, that's all.
Brady in the way. So what I got, so my the first thing, so you get to the Jets, man, and because I remember when you first got there, and it's like I don't know if y'all were still in camp or out of camp, and you would call. I'm like, dude, you all right, man? Like, what's going on? It's just like, is it? I don't know if it was just like and the thing that always stuck out to me when I was talking to you at that point is like you would say the word work. You never really said practice. It's just like I gotta go work today. It's something about work. It all changed over. It was a job at that point.
Yeah.
What was that whole change and transition like, man? Because like I said, I remember that first year, the change in talking to you. And that was the thing that stuck out to me, and I always remember that. It's like he's using the word work now.
Yeah, man. That was hold on. I'm saying, looking at this. Oh yeah.
You showing some of your plays? Yeah.
Yeah, that was a nickel blitz coming off the side. We called that Favre.
Oh, look. So, Big Catfish, break down this play for us. Show us like before you play. What's going on? What's happening here?
On the play right there, well, it's three. Well, that's the second one. Right, this one right here is three. It's 3-man rush. Oh, he ain't pause it. He got to pause it. Go back to the line of scrimmage.
Take it back to the top, Catfish. Take it back to the line of scrimmage and pause it.
You see, it's what, 1st and 10, right? 3-man rush.
Play. Yeah.
right? So you got Grunt down here. It's 2x2, 11 personnel. They end up motioning this back over to what is shotgun near, right? And they want to get the back out because later on I think they ended up running the screen and David Harris picked it and almost ran it back for a touchdown. So they were just trying to get us in like a vice almost to break our bracket coverage. And when you're playing against Brady, you really don't want to 4-man rush all the time. You just want to go 3-man rush and keep people in coverage because they throw a lot of short passes. So, see right here, I knew I was going to get double teamed, right?
Look at 92 out there. Go ahead.
Double team. So I just had to push the pocket. And here it is, the same as that formation again, but they just standing up. They standing the tight end, or maybe that's Aaron Hernandez, whatever. They standing him up. And then they motion the back right back in at the same thing, right? So now it's gone far, right? So I know I'm finna get the double team again. So my thing was to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, right? Because I knew if I can get the center pushed back as far as I can before that guard come, at some point I'm gonna end up in the crease, right? Between them two. Some point that guard that came to help the center, he has to leave because he gotta go help out somebody else, right? So if I can get in the crease before he square me off, right? Just keep pushing. When he leave, now I'm on the backside of the center. I just go over him. You know, fortunate enough, Jason Taylor, you know, ran the fish hook and made him step up, and I was able to get him. Yeah.
So let me talk about. So it was funny. So we showed you playing against your arch nemesis, the Patriots. The question I want to ask was the year that you got there, 2011. Did they give you your proper respect? Because people, real quick, people try to figure out who's the most important piece of the New England dynasty. They talk about Bill Belichick. They talk about Brady. They talk about Kraft or whoever else. I say it's actually you who started the New England dynasty because with the Drew Bledsoe thing. Talk about the Drew Bledsoe thing. And if we can find it, let's bring up the Drew Bledsoe play to talk about that and what that actually meant.
Yeah. Well, when I got there, they did.
Okay, thank you.
So tired of. I'm glad you're on the outside. We ain't got to worry about you. You know, pretty much. You know, use the headache for us, and you know how you know the linemen. The biggest part of it when the linemen. The offensive lineman and the defensive lineman, like, man, I'm so glad you're here. Like, I was skeptical going in at first because we've been so at each other. Yeah. When I got there, they just embraced me right off the bat. Like, whoo, I'm glad you're here. You know, we know we're gonna beat the Jets now. You know, like that. So, the Bledsoe situation, I think he had got out the pocket, and I think we had like a game on the end.
Here it is. Here it is. We got it queued up.
And I, you know, came around. He got out the pocket, so I'm chasing him. Right? He trying to run away from me. Right? As he got to the sideline, I don't know why he didn't step out of bounds. I think the reason he stepped out of bounds is because I dove and hit the ball and almost made him fumble. He reached back and caught the ball again. And when he turned, me hitting the ball trying to get out his arm took his attention off from Mo Lewis. Right? So he almost fumbled it. He caught it. And when he turned around, that was when Mo hit him. And I was tackling him from the back.
From behind,
like that. And that was it. I wish I would have never chased him down.
That's fault because if he didn't get hurt, man, we don't know when Brady would have ever got to play, man. I'm not saying that because you know what he ended up doing, but we don't.
It was so good for them though.
Right, he was playing that's why you don't know when if not for injury when Brady was going to get to play because Bledsoe was playing so well for them. And it's crazy how little things like that. That man's had a charmed life because even with that situation, and in the snow again with the Raiders, like all that stuff there's been a little point. Of course, he's obviously great and put in a lot of things, you know, lot of work to get where he is, but he's lived a little bit of a charmed life too. So at least they gave you your respect when you got that.
Yeah, man. It was. Oh, here it go right here.
Is this it? Yeah, I think this is it.
Yeah, I came in on the game. Yeah, I'm chasing. You see me dive right there. Hit the ball. See the ball come out. He lost the ball, and that's when he hit him. Yeah.
That was it.
I believe if I don't chase him, I think he runs out of bounds.
He runs out of bounds. Like if you look at it, I think he's going. You're right. He's going to go out of bounds, and that would have been it.
When I hit him, it propelled him forward into him to take.
And then you rolled that 320 up under him on top of him, man. It was like that didn't help neither, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Drew Bledsoe, man. You know.
We was banging him anyway in that game. Them 2 years right there.
I know.
Banging him. He was hitting.
So you know.
Most of my you gotta understand, like we had Brady in our conference. We had Peyton Manning in the conference. Had Bledsoe at Buffalo.
Yeah.
You had Jay Fiedler was a good quarterback at Miami.
Yeah.
Like we in our conference, we had some good.
Yeah. That was when Andy was before they went to like the shot. Yeah, they used to be in the East. That is right. They were in the AFC East. Yeah. So you know,
face them every single year, twice a year, and that's when Peyton came out. I never forget this though. When they first started doing because you thought the Rams, when we played the Rams, you knew they was high team, they was explosive. You just out there just running because ain't no way you gonna stop them, right? But when Peyton came back that next year and they opened up that no huddle offense, when they started just calling plays from the line of scrimmage, like just call like 3, 4, 5 plays in a row at the line of scrimmage, he'll call them, telling them the next plays that they're finna run after they run these plays. And for them to remember that and just go line up after the ball and just boom, 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 that was the toughest game. And like to play against him is like when they came out and they started doing that, I was like, man, I don't know a defense can stop.
They changed the game with that. Now that's the norm. Question: was he saying Omaha back then? Was he with the Omaha calls back then?
He always been saying Omaha.
He been saying with that. Have you been? So getting back to your batting 1,000, I'm gonna veer off real quick because I have to apologize to our Tennessee, our baseballs for not acknowledging them sooner in the college where they're out in Omaha. Have you been watching them this year? Have you been watching our baseball team?
I saw the Grand Slam. I saw that. I saw the Grand Slam. I haven't watched the last couple games. Shaun Ellis, by the way, I had the most. Yeah, but I have been watching them. You know, I watch baseball. I follow baseball. You know, baseball is my first love. Like I said, I didn't start playing football and basketball until I got in middle school, 7th grade. So all my little league stuff was all baseball.
So I'm gonna tell you I've always been like baseball was my first love, and I've always followed our baseball team. But I knew something was brewing with them this year at the beginning of the season when they were trolling our football program about the McDonald's bag, the McDonald's payments. I was like, okay, then you got to have some confidence to go, especially in a football school, to go out there and joke at your football team at their expense. I was like, okay, they got some confidence about them, and then they got some players too. They got a kid from my camp, Blacksburg, South Carolina, that's out there too. So always follow. Good luck to them guys. So like I said, sorry for taking that long to acknowledge them. But back to the thing. So after the sad Drew Bledsoe story, I have to come back with something else. Man, one of my other favorite moments of you with the Jets involves some snow up in Seattle. Man,
Yeah.
talk about throwing the snow, man. Because your response for me was what made that my favorite. Just like you just having fun. It just seemed like the thing to do. Just like someone would do.
Yeah.
Talk about throwing the snow at the people, man. And,
it was just hell, they started it. You know, I got in trouble. They started.
They started it. You know the second person always get just like basketball.
Yeah.
Somebody push you push them back, you get a technical. I know we got to see the snowball incident. Yes, sir. Here we go.
Now I ain't expect for it to be that big. So when I pulled out the snow, I was like, well, hell, I got it now. Shit. And the dude I pulled it on, he was the one pouring coffee on us when we were coming out the locker room.
But see, anybody like for me that knows you, like I expect you to do something like that. That was like if you didn't, I would have been disappointed.
Now, do he look like he hurt?
Nah, he wasn't hurt, man. It was one of those. He saw opportunity. He instigated, and then. Oh man, like I said, that was one of my favorite Jet moments, man.
Yeah, they came in the locker room they like, man, son, why'd you throw that snowball? The media, they was like, man, I'm just having fun. I just wanted to join this party. Like we was getting, we was getting hammered with snowballs the whole game.
So think about that gets me. Oh no, go ahead. So I'm gonna get into something because what you see right now is like some of what's going on. Because I know you follow basketball too. What's going on with these fans? And that's kind of like one of the precursors for what's happening now. You got them throwing popcorn, throwing drinks, spitting on players, and you see what happened what happened in the Malice at the Palace when you get somebody like Ron Artest is like, I'm not gonna take you doing that, and it starts a fight. What's going on with these fans nowadays? Because I think they think they have so much access to players, and I don't know if they get so tied to it where they feel like they can approach them. Like you seen it happen with people. Like I think it was I can't think of the player. The guy who used to play he played for the Knicks and played for the Hawks, the French guy. But anyway, somebody approached him off the court. I can't think of his name. It'll come to me in a minute. The guy, somebody did something to him off the court. But these guys, like what happened to Westbrook, Kyrie, all these players is like fans are
Trae Young,
basically throwing Trae Young people. What's behind this, man? What's like the thought of a player? Yeah, John Morant's people. What are your thoughts on that right now? Because it's going too far, man. Like this is what you had going on was kind of a precursor to that because they throwing stuff at y'all first.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna say that it's never right to retaliate against a fan in the stand.
You're right.
I'm gonna say that. People are human. Some things may happen.
I don't know if I agree with that. I don't agree with that. But I'm gonna let you finish. Go ahead.
I'm just saying from a player's perspective, because at the end of the day, us players got to keep the respect so we don't get so overboard and like really get in trouble.
I agree with that.
So we gotta turn a blind eye to a lot of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So now, for the fans, I just think it's it's disrespect. They don't respect the game. They don't respect the players. They don't even respect their own team. Like they really don't even respect their own team because they say stuff to their own teammates. I've been at games where their own team doing things to them. It's almost like we paid our money and we go come here, have some beers and get drunk, and we go do what the hell we want to do. If
there
I feel
it is,
like
right there.
Coming down, getting in your face and saying whatever, I have the right to do that, and you got to shut up. You got to take it. That's pretty much the way it's been set up over time. So in order for that to change, the arenas, I don't know about the teams, the arenas gonna have the location where they having these events have to pass a rule that if you are conduct detrimental to the game, right? That conduct where detrimental fall is very broad. Yeah. You banned from the arena. You can never come back to the arena again. you charged with the crime.
One of them the guy in Boston got a felony, I think. With one of those recent ones got a felony. The guy who spit on somebody should have got a felony, especially still in the era of COVID. You spit on somebody, that should be a felony.
Right.
I think the dude in Boston got a felony for throwing whatever he did with Kyrie.
Right. And I just think, like, you know, we have to bring the respect back into the game. Like, you have to respect your opponents, right? They there to do a job. You have to respect your opponents as well as your team. If your team not doing well, you can't go just booing your own team and doing all that crap either. You know what I'm saying? I just think the respect factor, like, it's sports. Somebody going to win, somebody going to lose.
Yeah.
And a whole lot of things will happen in between, right? A whole lot of emotions.
There it is. Yep.
Right? So we have to keep that balance as a fan base and keep the game enjoyable. I think sometimes, especially with social media, with them being able to post things and be at the game, they feel like they really like they own the game. You know, like they can do what they want to in the arena. I can go on social media and say this and say that, and then go down and talk about your mama and your daddy and all this and that. Like, you know, I just feel like it's lack of respect. It's not just not right, man. You know, like at the end of the day, at the end of the day, all of us in there, except the kids, we all grown people. You know, we all a man. You know, so you have to respect us. You know, we as a away team, when we go into a home team environment, we automatically know we finna get harassed and heckled. That's okay. We can take that. But when you start going to a level of disrespect, you want to put your fluid on me, you want to put your hands on me, you want to throw things on me. Now you put him in a situation where you put him in a predicament where my principles,
your man,
you know, and the way I represent myself, go have to show itself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, and it's a fine line. It's a fine line. It's a real fine line because those players are stressed. They're going through things off the court, on the court. You know, they have problems. They come to the game to be able to have fun and play the game and give the fans a good experience. You know, and they would take all the heckling. They would take all of it. But just don't get on there and put your hands on someone. Don't go spitting on someone. Just keep it respectful. You know, I guarantee you, if you outside that arena, when none of them, you know, I take that back because nowadays, I think they that brave. They would do that.
Yeah, Tabo Cephalosha. That's who it was. Cephalosha. Somebody did something. There was something weird going on with him. But yeah, you're right. And you know, what's up to Brian Tab? Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for the shout out. But yeah, man, and it like that's one of those, and it's been because Florida was they were right on the cusp of doing stuff like that because right behind us was the student section. Everybody was drunk. They tossed Jack Daniels and they had they were always like right there from stepping over the line of doing too much. And like now I think this is the evolution of stuff like that. People now again, because I think they feel like they're more entitled to have more, do more, say more, and they stepped over the line with it.
Mm-hmm. And they know that players can't retaliate. You know, they can't retaliate back.
Because it's gonna get posted out. So like their response is gonna get blasted out everywhere.
Right. While they go home and they like, you know, yeah, look at him, he the asshole, you know, I was just talking blah, blah, blah. But the media is on the player, not the real perpetrator, you know? Like I just find it like with the day and time, what's going on in the world, like a lot of people just forgetting like just basic human being principles and morals.
Human courtesy. That's absolutely right. Human courtesy. So with that, I definitely don't want to get out of here on that. I want you to now, like, what do you want us? Because to get to where you are, to where you went to in your journey, you had to have a lot of people like with you, around you. Talk just what do you want to say to whether it's your family, friends? Let's talk about the West Side family, Tennessee, the Jets, the people that supported you with the Jets. I'm not even gonna talk about the Patriots. I'm gonna stop right there. So family, friends, West Side, Tennessee, Jets fans who out there listening, supporting, they're gonna see this, whatever else, and just tell what do you want to tell them? What do you want to talk about? Anything that you're doing right now? Just anything. I want a more positive note after we talked about these crazy.
Oh yeah. Back home, man, Anderson, South Carolina. I just want to say, man, that y'all been, just utmost had my back from day one, supported me in anything and everything that I did. Y'all understood where I came from and my progress and where I was going, man. And y'all supported me in every way possible with that. West Side High School, y'all was right there. It all started right there. Southwood Middle School, all my middle school coaches, Coach Bradshaw, Coach Green. By the way, my middle school team was undefeated 2 years in a row. We had middle school teams canceling games, and we would have to go play JV teams. Yeah, yeah. And but I just had to throw that in there, let you know them Jaguars was for real.
Gotcha.
Yeah, man. It just West Side, Coach Lucky Dude, Coach Patterson, Coach Dove, Coach Glover, which we lost this year. That was a tough one. He was a guy that he was my ride back and forth from middle school to high school at the time, because I was in 7th grade and I was playing varsity baseball at the time, and and then I end up he was my ride doing that, man, riding that. You might have saw the post that I posted on Facebook at one time, but he used to drive a red eye rock, right?
Yeah.
And he like 400 pounds. And it would be like 20 kids in that car. I don't know how we all got in that car.
Hey man,
Yeah,
that's
we all got in it though. That was a fun time, fun memory. All my teammates, thank y'all for y'all support, y'all love. Even to this day, I'm still great friends with a lot of those guys. And on my way to Tennessee, man, like Jeff, you the main one. Coming in, man, you gave me somebody to lean on, somebody to watch, and you taught me how to do things, man. And Fred, Raynaud, Billy, the young guys, Albert, Big John, D. Lord, Overstreet, Constantine, who I'm missing? Rashad Moore.
you ain't gonna catch them all, man. Well, shit, like I know they do. Everybody know you talk to them and love them,
Yeah, D-Rock, all the D, man. I had a blast, man. I wouldn't change it for the world. I met some incredible people there. We had a lot of experiences. We grew. We became men when we left there, man. I just want to say thanks, man, to University of Tennessee for giving me an opportunity, for allowing me to come to their school, to further my education and my sports career. Coach Chavis, man, for believing in me. Coach Brooks for believing in me. Coach Caldwell for believing in me and pushing me, not taking it easy on me, making me earn everything. Just the whole coaching staff there, man. And the Jets, I want to say thanks to them. Coach Parcell for believing in me, and a lot of people know I was drafted by Bill Parcell. That was huge. That's huge for him to draft me, considering all the things and the toughness, that mindset that he has, and all that. For him to draft me, he felt like that I met all those criteria as a player, and to be able to go there and to play 12 years, and to not everything was rosy for me there either, because I had a lot of changes, had a lot of different coaches, this and this, went through this many coaches, da 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 da. But I was able to stay consistent, and I was able to, just keep at it. And I think my experience from being at the University of Tennessee helped prepare me for my journey in the NFL, and there's no doubt about that. Things that we was doing now, Tennessee prepared me for it, and there wasn't no players in the locker room that could top. I was already used to different players and characters and all that. In Tennessee, we had a lot of characters. We had a lot, so I felt right at home. So I knew how to deal with a lot of personalities and that. And I just want to say, just thanks to all the communities that I played in for accepting me and inviting me into their community. Even though in New York is my home now. This is where I'm at, raising my family. I just want to say thank you to my mom, who Annie Ellis, Clara, mama.
Wow, that's it. That's right.
Yeah, she paid the way for me, man. She worked her butt off to be able to to put a roof over our head, bills being paid, just everything entitled, just everything about, raising kids, man. And it was four of us. And no, it's five of us. No, four. Excuse me. It was four of us. And I just want to thank her for being my rock, my support, my heart, my brother, Bobby Ellis, man. I love you, bro.
Bobby Joe.
Thank you too. Yeah, thank you for all your support, man. You know what? My brother's my biggest fan, man. He was my biggest fan. No matter what, he was there for me, everything. He was my biggest fan. My sister, Tamiko, thank you, for your support, your love and care. My other sister, my younger sister, Nakia, she was there, I had she was there, so I had to teach her the way. She depended on me a lot, so I had to grow up quick, so I could be able to stir her in the right direction and show her a good example for a big brother, as well as my other brother. But and my daughter, man, I just want to thank you. You're my rock, Keishana. You're my rock. You believed in me and everything. So when I first seen your eyes, I knew that I had to make this work. Like we talked about going back my first year up there. When I first hit the field, I was going through so much, and most of that not knowing what type of father I'm gonna be, how I'm gonna be able to support you. But God made a way. And the pride that I had not to let you down. That what got me to where I am today. And it all paid off. And my wife, Cecile, she's been great. She's been my biggest supporter, my help, my confidant, just my backbone, my soulmate. And my son Jordan, I love him. He has given me nothing but inspiration when I look at him, just seeing the things that he's doing. He went to college. He graduated from Binghamton University. He played basketball there. He got his master's, MBA. He's working in the city. Just seeing him living his life and growing his life now, I couldn't be, prouder. I'm proud of it. And my two young boys that's coming up, Scholar, he on this journey. He on this journey to make it, to be a professional. That's his journey. That's what he wants. And I'm here to help him with that and make sure that he turn over every stone to try to accomplish that goal. He's a huge, he like me. He's a sports fanatic. He like baseball, soccer, basketball, football. He plays it. I mean, he's exceptionally gifted at all his sports. So University of Tennessee, you better get on the horn and get the calling. Better get the calling, basketball team.
Yeah.
Basketball is his favorite sport, and he's lights
Good
out.
Lord.
So for people that's watching, you can go to his Instagram at SkyBallin14, and you can check him out. Some of his things there. My youngest son, Bryson, he's 10. Skylar, by the way, is 12. Bryson is 10. He's the same way, man. He likes sports. He likes sports. He likes basketball, soccer, football. he the same way. You know, his journey want to be a professional athlete. You know, like his dad. So I want to turn over every stone for him as well to try to make sure that they able to reach those dreams of being that elite athlete one day. School wise, all of them, they way further than what I was. They way further than what I was. Scholar, he's the high honor roll student. He made the National Honor Society. He also he's playing basketball at the high school. He played on the JV team this year. He's in 7th grade. He'll be playing varsity next year as an 8th grader for basketball. And I just living my life for them, man. Just trying to keep everything just simple and faith in God and just live it one day at a time and enjoy it. With this year with this pandemic, it really has opened your eyesight up to a lot of things. And the most important thing that I have seen so far is that family is the most important, no matter what's going through. Because you could be in the darkest of the time, and your family's still gonna be there. And I appreciate that. And just want to say, thanks, man. I'm very blessed. I'm very blessed.
Absolutely. And man, I don't want to say too much after that because that's very helpful, and I love what you said. But I just want to tell you, man, how proud I am of you. And I say that from a place I saw you come in when you were 18 years old, and I watched. I've been there with you. We've been through a lot of stuff. You've seen me go through stuff. I've seen you go through stuff. Our families are like we're all family right now. I was in your sister's. I was at your sister's wedding. I talked to your mom. I call your mom. Our mothers talk. It's just like Bobby Pat. I talked to Pat. Well, I talked to him earlier today. He called me like, "What's going on?" He's in Gambia. He's going to see my mom while he's in. I can't leave without seeing your mom. That's right. Okay. So we're all just family now. But watching how you progress through life and what you become and the way that you did it and how you are right now with your family, with all your kids and the father and the husband and the son and the brother that you are, man. It's one of those things that we're all put in a place to to motivate each other, to talk to each other and, uplift each other. And that's just one of those things that's always been motivating for me. You've always given me words, even back when, when I wasn't, when my football career ended, my journey ended. That was one of those things. I think with some of my friends, it might have bothered them more than it bothered me even so much. But just going through that whole thing and just going through life and just being there for each other. I love you, brother. You already know that. Bro. Yeah, man. And it's just I'm just proud to see where you are, what you're doing, and I appreciate you coming out here, sharing some of these stories with everybody. And this is the Big Kat I wanted everybody to see. It's like I know you, we know you, but I don't think a lot of Vol Nation and some other people don't know you like that. And I think this was good to get them to see and for you to to talk about some of your things, man. So I appreciate you coming out here doing this.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. Anytime, man. I enjoyed this.
Yeah, and So we were going to backdoor something that me and you, because for those of you don't know, I mentioned a little bit earlier, man. We get on the phone sometimes. Me, Big Kat, Deuce. We get on the phone and we just, like I said, it's if I could get a word over Deuce, I try to argue, but we all have this thing, and it's like it's entertaining to us. So we figured I was gonna call him in just to kind of join right now, but what we were talking about was just was too much. I didn't want to shortchange that. So we're gonna come back again, and they saw it a little bit when we did the college football thing, and I think we may have done something else, but we're gonna get back again, man, because your perspective. I don't even think that when you started breaking down plays, and again I saw it then and I heard it. We talked about it afterwards, like the way you break down stuff and the way you explain the game, man. I think that you have a lot of stuff that people want to hear and need to hear your perspective of the game. And you may know it, you may not know it, but other people see it. And we need to get you before Fox or somebody else get a hold of you and snatch you away, and we can say that you started on our little platform here. So
Okay.
Just a little nugget for you, man. You need to go make you a tape or something, man, because when you talk about the game and explain it, you explain it in a way that's an expert, but that a normal person can understand. And I don't know if you know that. You just do it naturally. You just go into it. But that's just something else we'll talk about, man. I appreciate you coming on and doing that. And like I said, just any last words for anybody. And I know you said your thanks, but man, just take us up out of here.
Me? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Just thank you, man. I enjoy being Evolve for life. That's my life. I bleed orange.
Cold World Podcast. Thanks everyone for joining.